Do you think if animals could talk, people would be more hesitant about hunting them? Why or why not? Yes, imagine trying to kill a bird screaming about sex. Don't kill me, mate. I'm just trying to get my cloaca moist. Oh yes. Get my warn you early bird. It wasn't me who shit on your car, but I can take you to who did. Just put the gun down, Greg, before you do something stupid. Interesting. I would say yes because that would mean you can build a relationship. You don't wanna kill your dear friend. Everyone's assuming this N means they'll be intelligent. A talking deer could just go around saying, grass, 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 doe, grass, buck, horns, smash, grass. If trees could scream, would we be so cavalier about cutting them down? We might, if they screamed all the time. Jack Handy. Cows would have a legitimate beef and try to talk their way out of the slaughterhouse by steering things in a different direction. Both yes and no. Some people would feel sympathy for the creature's expressions of its thoughts. Other people would be like, oh MFG, this thing won't shut up and there's no real penalty for killing it, so smashy smashy, shooty shooty. If they just had the ability to express their thoughts, it wouldn't make much of a difference. Very few animals are capable of complex thought, and the few that are still nowhere near human level. So you're not going to hear Bambi say, please don't kill my mama, it's gonna be more like food'em tasty ooh danger run away ooh more food'em hey anyone wanna fuck. I reckon dolphins and most of the great apes are probably comparable to human children at various stages of development. If any creature on Earth could be our equal, it's the octopus. Maybe the elephant too. Yes. Did a very interesting research project on them and they return yearly to spots of lost loved ones to mourn and cry tears too, just to name one example. It's incredible. People can talk and we don't hesitate about hurting them. Are you kidding me? With most animals I am certain that every other thought is either how to fuck you or kill you. I had an iguana once and he was usually the sweetest pet I've ever had. But if he ever crawled to a height taller than your head he would immediately become aggressive and try to whip you with his tail. Reminds me of a story I heard long ago. A guy had a pet, iguana I think? Anyway, some kind of large lizard, which was never nice and always aggressive and territorial in the guy's house. So one day the lizard bites him, and it hurts so bad. After the bite, the guy gets sick from an infection to the bite. He's bedridden, but he notices his pet lizard is easing up to him, like watching him from across a room or getting close while he lays down. He thinks the lizard feels sorry for biting him and his animal apologizing. The infection gets bad, so the guy has to go to the hospital, where he tells his doctor about the bite, and about how his lizard must finally be warming up to him because it's been getting closer and nicer. Doc says, nah, actually the lizard bit you and this species will follow their victims around until they eventually die so they can eat them more easily. Probably yes. Hunting is far more animal-friendly, though. If you think about it, they get to live their lives to the fullest extent, then one day something goes bang. And they fall over dead. I think that's a good way to go. A much better life than anything pigs, cows and chickens in commercial meat farms have to endure. Hunting can in fact help a population. It reduces overeating, forces new genes into that population by opening up territory. And usually keeps the best healthy genes thriving. End summation, hunting absolutely helps an animal population. When regulated and managed. It can also stop overpopulation of some non-native species. Seeing as there is things like slavery, human trafficking, abuse of all types still very much alive and seen as a profitable means of business within our own species. I'd say yeah. We would still hunt them, and probably make a reality show out of it showing them running for their lives and us as the victors in each episode. I think we would be quickly convinced of how much more useful they are as food than as orators. Imagine a fish betraying its own and telling the fisherman where he can get loads more fish. I would airboard those fuckers until they spilled the beans on the school's location. In the Long Earth series, when discussing an AI getting human rights, they make the point that, if something has the ability to beg for the right to exist, then it should probably have the right to exist. So yeah, if animals could be like, hey wait don't shoot, I think people would probably think twice. Thing is though, even if they could talk, they wouldn't be smarter enough to say that. It'd probably some distribution of companion animals, and food stock animals, like we have now. The ability to speak in human, or human in dog, doesn't mean you can exchange thoughts, give instructions, or even have relatable conversations. Our current level of relationships with companion animals is pretty much bare bones, the least that we can come to terms with each other's methods and modes. When's the last time you sympathized with a chatbot whose service is being taken offline? That's just a short-term projection. In the long term, it all depends on how well each side develops across generations. It'll probably be more how the animal side develops to human standards. The true question is, if animals could talk, how long until bestiality would become legal? It will just give me more pleasure to kill cockroaches. I think it depends. Have they always been able to talk, or is this a new development? Being able to decide not to eat something for whatever reason is a relatively new luxury to humanity in general and still isn't available to everyone. It's also worth noting that crop yields have significantly increased in the last 100 years or so thanks to a variety of breakthroughs in the agricultural industry. So in times past people would 100% have eaten talking animals with little to no guilt, and because it's what we've always done, it would be the same for modern people. Potentially we'd have more vegans, vegos than now, but overall I don't see it changing meat consumption. Hunting specifically as a sport rather than killing animals for food consumption wouldn't be as popular emo. Especially if animals screamed in a human-like voice. If animals started talking today out of nowhere, it would affect not only hunting as a sport but food consumption, at least in wealthier countries. I'm not sure if I would turn vego. I try to keep my meat consumption down for environmental reasons, but I'm totally unbothered that animals are killed for me to eat. So long as they're treated well in life and killed in a decent manner, I don't support caging them up. That's fucked. I already know they're thinking, feeling creatures, so I don't know if their learning to talk would change my stance personally, but it would absolutely change plenty of minds. Doesn't work for people, why would it work for animals? If animals could take and had more advanced cognition and speech, I feel they'd become murderous and try to kill us in groups, maybe with other types of animals. Pigs do this apparently. Every year a half dozen or so farmers are murdered by their pigs. The pigs GNG up and work together to knock the farmer over and trample them to death. It seems almost deliberate. Edit, accidentally hit enter after just one word. Oops. That's interesting. Any articles you've got? I will check in the morning. It's currently 2 a.m. here. But here it's not. Stop lying. Just in case. Depends on the animal. I bet house cat would say some really fucked up shit. When I come home after being out shopping or wherever, I always ask my dog if she's done a good job looking after the house. She wags, gets pets and a treat. One day I asked the cat. The look of disgust and disdain in his eyes made one very specific line echo in my head like he planted it there with telepathy. It's still here, isn't it? No. Meat wasn't as an important food source for humans, and animals wouldn't have evolved hands, bipedalism. All that'd change is we'd be slightly more empathic towards animals. I dunno. A suicidal deer asking me to shoot it would be just as tasty. Tastes like sadness. This reminds me of a quote from Jack Handey. If trees could scream, would we be so cavalier about cutting them down? We might, if they screamed all the time, for no good reason. Just because you talk doesn't make you intelligent or sentient. I push my fingers into my eyes. It's the only thing that slowly stops the ache. Me every time I see a question like this. I don't know, people talk and we aren't shy about killing them. If it happened suddenly? Maybe. If it had been around for the last million or so years of evolution? We'd probably be over it by now. Just a part of life. No, because we have to eat meat, no matter what. We need meat to live and be healthy. Humans being able to talk hasn't stopped them from making war and killing each other. And before people point out that you can be a vegan, there are many societies that do not have the ability to farm and must eat meat to live. I feel like it would be more disturbing than anything, because just cause they talk doesn't mean they have sentience, so they'd probably just say, must fuck, must eat, must fuck, must eat. Sleepy now. If trees could scream, would we be so cavalier about cutting them down? We might, if they screamed all the time, for no good reason. Jack Handey. Yeah. Communication creates a connection to something, this making it harder to kill on a mental level. If trees could scream, would we be so cavalier about cutting them down? We might, if they screamed all the time, for no good reason. Jack Handy. Slightly off topic, but it's hard to resist a chance to reprise a deep thought. Furries can talk and I'm a 100% behind hunting them. Yes, because that's how people are. Something talks to you, and you're less inclined to kill it. There are exceptions. Are they intelligent creatures or they can talk in the same way a parrot can? Mostly yes, but there are always those people. Every pet I ever had, I asked my mom if we could eat it when it died, until I was no longer allowed to have pets. That's a no for me. I know peeps who lived on farms and they told me they named and would talk to their future dinner. I knew a guy who would name future meals about people he didn't like. What's for supper? Well, I got fed up with Johnson down the road, so I killed Johnson and tonight we're having ribs. Cool guy otherwise. Honestly, I think the anime series Beastars would be a great representation of how animals would think about humans hunting them if you see humans as the wolves in the series. Yes, because they could express emotions easily. I was walking in the woods yesterday and I saw a deer sitting in a big pit. I was able to get a few pictures and it didn't seem to mind. I sit from a safe distance, I just stared at it and it stared back at me. It was very calm. Today, I went on that same route in the woods and the deer was in the same exact spot. At this point, I decided that it was probably pregnant, which is why it was not interested in running away from me. I thought about how a hunter could easily take the life away from the doe and the possible fawn she might give birth to. My guess is that if this deer could talk to me, she would actively learn begging for me not to hurt her because she is a future mother. I always give her space so she doesn't freak out, and she doesn't work up the courage to attack me. Thankfully, this is closer to a road and other houses, so a hunter would likely not harm it. However, I'll bet if a person with a gun in the woods were given the opportunity, they would shoot the poor thing. Even if the deer were begging not to. No, people are very selective on what they hunt and kill, that's why we have dogs on our laps and deer heads on the walls. Also, theoretically whales can talk and we may even crack their language someday, but there would still be a group of people that would hunt them. No, and I'll put it like this. People kill people every single day, maybe not out of intent to consume, but no doubt kill others humans. What makes you think the masses have any sort of remorse or care about animals? To them it's just a part of life. We are a selfish, oblivious, chaotic species, and that is all I have to say on this topic. I'd love to hear an animal that's generally hunted a lot, let's say quail, have to hear from some redneck that because they naturally breed a lot, they get to be killed for fun. I'm curious what a quail would say. Some people. Others, no. These are the people that would hunt humans if they could. I have too many questions for this post. Be more concise with your question, please. Would animals speak the same language as us? Alternatively, do they have their own languages and dialects? Do animals learn languages based on where they live, who brought them up, or is it instinct? If you are including all animals and an animal would be incapable of speech like a worm, would that worm be telepathic? If animals are all intelligent enough to communicate verbally, have their intelligence increased or does their intelligence stay the same? By talk to people I was at first assuming that these animals could have a conversation, but talking and communicating are different things. Pokémon talk to people technically, in which case I think you would see us hunting them more because animals are loud. I imagine I would do something about the rodent in my wall repeating rat 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 so that they would shut the fuck up. Let us now assume that animals have all developed enough intelligence to take on a conversation. Who wants to explain to a chicken what we do to them at mass production meat facilities? Are we ready for that conversation? That shit is beyond hunting, that is systematic killing of a species in a building called a slaughterhouse. We would be at war. Shoots deer. Ah, the painnnnnn, ah, why would you do thiss to me? Ah, I am going to bleed out, go to hell. Ah, I'm low, sing consciousness. Well, complex language is a major indication of consciousness, so I'd say 100% anyone that is not psychotic wouldn't kill something they could communicate with. I think people are generally anti-eating intelligent life. Yes, because typically when killing an animal people can disassociate the animal by thinking that it was never intelligent in the first place. However, if an animal starts talking a language people could understand, then that proves their intelligence and people can no longer disassociate. To be a bit more serious and morbid, no, people wouldn't be more hesitant. People build relationships with other people all the time and still seem to have no problem killing. Some even eat them, cough cough Dahmer cough cough. Not if they talked all the time, for no reason. All credit goes to Jack Handy. Depends on when they started speaking. Let me elaborate. If our ancestors grew up with talking animals, we would have no qualms with eating meat. If animals started talking tomorrow, the majority of us would be hesitant eating them. I mean, it's not stopping humans from killing each other. No, we'd have evolved to not care. Yes, imagine if you don't kill it in one shot, it's going to be shouting bloody murder, and that'd be horrible, and traps would suck too because they would just be screaming for help. Personally, hell no, I'ma eat that cow's delicious steak in front of her. CHUKDWHO, the fuck you think I am, a vegan? Imagine hunters and deer getting into a gang war. Not me. I need to eat. Well, we know that animals are sometimes smarter than we generally like to believe. It wouldn't make much of a difference though, 'cause we'd kill them faster than they could talk sometimes. Or if they were farm-raised, it's already a bit sociopathic having to detach yourself from the animals you had to raise. So talking makes no difference. It's just voices you have to ignore for the need of survival. Bigger fish kill smaller fish all the time, they don't have time to skip past every other meal. You gotta eat bro, just don't be greedy. If they suddenly became able to talk, yeah, that would freak most people the fuck out. But we didn't start hunting animals because we couldn't talk to them. And many hunter-gatherer tribes believed that the animals could talk, we just didn't know how to hear them. They still killed them for food, gotta live. So if animals had always been able to talk, yeah, we'd still have hunted them. Which means we simply wouldn't find it weird that animals we hunt could talk. Wasn't there some joke about a pig? It's illegal to have sex with a pig, but it's okay to kill him. If he could talk to you, he might want those laws reversed. If they could talk, would they still be animals? Yes, they would be. Fun fact, humans are also animals. Depends on what they said. Mommy, why is the sky blue? Pass. Jake Paul is the only human worth knowing. Bang 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 bang. I mean, war and murder between humans still exist. My cat thinks he's a dog and would F-bomb every minute of every day. So no. We might hesitate. But as someone from America, I can't really see that happening. I doubt it. Look at what happens when a human says, I can't breathe. Really? Now of all times you question if humans are willing to ignore pleas for mercy while killing in cold blood? Animals can communicate attitude and emotion just fine if you learn how to watch and listen for it. I personally still eat some of them anyway. Yes, it humanizes them. Just imagine your dog moaning as he humps a pillow. People would continue to kill, but perhaps not at a great popularity. It's like people killing people for stupid reasons and still not caring. Just it would be a fine line with people not hunting, because even if you do hit an animal it would guilt trip you. Aha. Imagine you're out hunting for a bear for a taxidermist and you find one, and then all of a sudden you hear, "You know I can see you, right?" You freeze with your sights still on him. Don't do anything stupid or you might regret it. You back off and slowly walk back and you hear, "Good, now get out of here." You terrified run away with all your might. Humans hunt humans, I don't think it would change anything. No talking is just a way to let us know the raiding target has more resources to plunder. I'd definitely hunt. You could hear when they're fucking, so you could get the buck when he's vulnerable. Depends on how annoying what they would say would be. Depends on what they're saying. If you found them disagreeable, might make the process easier. 10 out of 10 people would still eat chickens, they are so stupid. Well, maybe you could get a jail penalty out of it. Or you probably don't want to be eating something that's talking to you. Or if you had a wonderful conversation with a bear and you just see it hanging on your wall every day. I would give the animals some time. If they dare one-up me in a fishing tourney or scream I made their latte wrong, then you bet I'm gonna hit them on the head with a net. Probably not. Look how we kill each other. Honestly not sure, but I would sure love to hear what my fish has to say about me. I think yes. It's like this Black Mirror episode where the human targets are modified by an implant in the soldier's head to make them scream gibberish instead of intelligible words, which make them easier to kill, and the soldier did not show remorse. There are pros and cons. You can build friendships, but you can also build grudges. Grudges lead to human murder, so why not animal murder? If anything it would be easier. It's just an animal, not a real person. To me, it's the same with something like bugs. If an ant screamed when you killed it, people would be less likely to just grab a napkin. Thanks for watching our video. If you like it, please smash the subscribe and like button to support the channel, so that we can create more quality content in the future.